Hey everyone, what is going on? So we have another meta guide for you, this time taking a look at the Retro Cup. So what is the Retro Cup? So it's a cup that only allows the first 15 types, the original types from Red and Blue. So that means Steel, Dark, and Fairy types are not going to be eligible for the Retro Cup, only the first 15 types. So anything introduced after Red and Blue, not going to be eligible for this cup. So it seems pretty cool, pretty unique, pretty exciting as well, because this is going to ban a lot of popular Pokemon, for example, Azumel, Galarian Stunfisk, Umbreon. So a lot of the top Pokemon are going to be banned from the Retro Cup. But I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it and take a look at some of the Pokemon that are going to be eligible and some Pokemon I think are going to be really good for the Retro Cup. So let's go ahead and look at the S tier. We do have Lickitung, and this is XL Lickitung. So if you don't have an XL Lickitung, if you're like me and you're not even close, I wouldn't recommend running Lickitung, but if you happen to have an XL1, it's going to be very solid. You need that legacy move of Body Slam, but going to be really, really bulky, really strong. So probably one of the best Pokemon if you have it. If you don't have it, that's going to be unfortunate. You're not going to be able to run Lickitung. Well, you could, but I probably wouldn't without the XL variant. But that's Lickitung for you. Then we're going to move on to Frostlass. So Frostlass, definitely, it's a Pokemon we see in the Great League from time to time. It's not super common, but I do think in this meta, I think it's going to be really good. And I think it's going to be really strong. It charges up really fast. So we all know how good Frostlass is, especially when it gets a head-on energy, right? So it's definitely going to be a really solid pick. And I do recommend considering it. I'll definitely be trying it out. Then we have Cresselia. Cresselia, I think, is a really great safe swap. Sableye is not going to be eligible for this cup because it is a dark type. So Cresselia and Deoxys is going to be even better safe swaps than they originally were, right? So obviously there's still answers to them, like Alolan Marowak going to be doing well. But I'm just saying, like, you know, you take off like one of the hardest counters to those two, being Sableye, you have great safe swap options. So I think those two Pokemon are going to be really strong and really powerful in this cup. I probably wouldn't lead with them. I'd probably keep them in the back, but they're going to be really good. And then we're going to move on and talk about Hypno. Hypno has always been great as a lead. It's been great in the back as well. And again, no Sableye. You know, so Sableye obviously threatens the Psychic types. It threatens, threatens the Psychic types. So Hypno is going to be really strong now. What moveset would you run on Hypno? I mean, all the moves Hypno has are pretty much good, right? So, obviously you have the Confusion as a fast move. Usually we see Thunder Punch, but would you want Thunder Punch? I mean, we don't have Azumel. You still have Politoed. You still have other water types. You have Pelipper. So you do have other water types that you can use Thunder Punch on. But Shadow Ball to hit the Psychic types, going to be really strong. Or you could go with Fire Punch and Ice Punch. There's a lot of Ice types, and there's also Dragon types. So it's going to be interesting to see the movesets that people choose for Hypno in the Retro Cup. But I don't know if Thunder Punch is going to be the way to go. But it might be. We'll have to see when the Retro Cup begins. But I do think Hypno is going to be really popular. And then we have the A tier. We have Altaria. Now, Altaria was always good in the Great League. It saw less play once Galarian Stunfisk was introduced. But now that that's no longer a thing in this cup, you could go ahead and start running Altaria again. So I think it's going to be a great lead. Definitely a solid Pokemon. One that you're going to see a lot. There's quite a bit of Ice types that I think are going to be good, but it's still a good Pokemon. And then we have Abomasnow or Shadow Abomasnow. Similar to Frostlass, just going to be really powerful. Probably going to see it in the lead a lot, but it's definitely a solid pick. Then we have Regirock. So Registeel is not going to be eligible because it is a Steel type. So Regirock, if you're looking for that bulk, really strong Pokemon. Lockout is really good, so it's definitely a strong pick. I think it probably won't be super common, but I think you might see it here and there. I think it's a good Pokemon. So then we have Medicham. This is probably the best fighting type in the Retro Cup. In fact, I would say that it is the best fighting type. Now, you can go with a Perfect. You can go with an XL1, level 50. I think the Perfect actually has more attack. The defensive one, like the level 51, has more defense, which I personally like. I like that added layer of defense. But both of them are good. You don't need an XL1 or a maxed out XL1 for this, so a really highly ranked one. You could go with your Perfect if you have it, your 98 if you have it. But I do have both. I'll probably go with my bulky one, but I'll definitely be using Medicham for sure, no doubt about it. Then we have Garvantula, usually seen in the lead, so Garvantula definitely gains some play since Galarian Stunfisk is banned, there's no doubt about it. Then we have Politoed. Ever since they introduced Weather Ball, we know how strong Politoed has been. It's kind of a toss-up what move you're going to see on it, Blizzard or Earthquake. I mean, if you have another Ice type on the team, you probably won't run Blizzard, you'll probably run Earthquake. So it kind of depends. I mean, you could go either way, but if you do choose to run Earthquake, you're going to need in Elite TM because it is a legacy Pokemon. Then we have B for BTS, so we have Dragonair. Dragonair, I think, is a pretty good Dragon Breath user, but I mean, I think Altaria is better, but I think Dragonair or Shadow Dragonair, probably Shadow Dragonair, could see some play. So we have Drifblim next. So Drifblim has always been a good Pokemon in the Great League. So probably see it more so as a lead than anything else. If you do see it, I think it's a really good lead Pokemon. So obviously debuffing with Icy Wind. Speaking of debuffing opponents, we have another Ice type. I do think Frostlass and Abomasnow probably a little bit better than Dewgong, but Dewgong is good with the Ice Shot, Icy Wind. As I said, debuffs the opponent, so that's really solid. Obviously, really strong. You could flip matchups by debuffing them, so Dewgong definitely has a place in the meta. Then we have Jellicent, which we see Jellicent, we see it in the Open Great League, we see it in the Open Ultra League, we see it in the Premier Cup, the Ultra Premier Cup, we see it in the Remix Cup, you're going to see it in the Retro Cup, there's no doubt about it. So Jellicent. I like Bubble Beam as well as Shadow Ball, but Ice Beam definitely has a role as well if you choose to do it, but I like the Bubble Beam, I like the bait option. Plus the debuffs, obviously. Really good. Alolan Malwak, going to be another really good Pokemon. It could do well against the Psychics like Cresselia, like Hypno, like Deoxys Defense. So with Shadow Bone or Shadow Ball, but I like Shadow Bone. Now, which would I go with? Hex? Would I go with Fire Spin? I've always ran Fire Spin on Alolan Malwak, but both moves are good. I'd probably go with Fire Spin, but Hex is good as well. And then we have Pelipper. So Pelipper, if you know, I hit Legend with Pelipper this season. I absolutely love it. Great safe swap. I mean, there's really not a lot of hard answers to it. Even if they happen to have a Garvantula in the back, you get a head on energy with Pelipper. You're either good. I mean, there have been times I actually flipped switch, or there have been times where I was able to get a shield. So Pelipper is definitely a great Pokemon. Not really many hard answers to it. So I think it's a great safe swap. I'll definitely be another Pokemon I'll definitely be using. So other options, we do have Snowy Castform as well as Lapras. Both of them are Ice types. Both of them are really powerful. Again, I think the other Ice types that we mentioned already probably a little bit better, but these two are pretty solid. So we have Mew as well. Mew can have any moveset, not any moveset, but it can have a lot of different movesets. So usually the common moveset going to be Shadow Claw with Wild Charge and Surf, or possibly Flame Charge instead of Surf, but I've seen Overheat as well. But for this Retro Cup, maybe we'll see a different moveset on Mew. I actually don't know. We might, but that's pretty much the common moveset on Mew. Then we have Snorlax. Snorlax, I like it. I mean, Snorlax, Shadow Snorlax as a safe swap, really good. But, I mean, obviously it does have to watch out for Medicham. But even if they switch into Medicham, Snorlax is really bulky that it licks and Body Slams are going to add up. And then we have Gyarados and Rainy Castform. A couple more water types that you could use. And we have Talonflame. I mentioned Alolan Malwak. I think Alolan Malwak is probably the best fire type. But Talonflame is good with Incinerate as well. It's really powerful. It's just Incinerate takes forever to go through. So it could be a little bit tricky to use, but it's still a really good Pokemon, right? Then we have Swampert and Wishcash, two Mud Boys. I think Swampert is better than Wishcash. I think a lot of people probably agree with that, but still both of them could be used. But if you're going with one, it's probably going to be Swampert. And then we have Machamp or Shadow Machamp, probably Shadow Machamp. Okay, I mean, Machamp is a good fighting type. We see it quite a bit. I do think Medicham is better, to be honest. I think that's the best fighting type. But Machamp does have some play, and I'm sure you'll go up against it. But I do recommend the Medicham, to be honest. Then we have Lickilicky. So Lickilicky is it's okay. It's okay. Similar to Lickitung, but it's not as bulky. It's not as good as Lickitung because Lickitung is an XL one. But it's on there, and similar with Munchlax. I mean, Munchlax is another option. You could go with another Lick user. And then we're going down to solid team choices. So the first team I have is going to be Abomasnow or Shadow Abomasnow with Cresselia and Medicham. So I did mention that Cresselia is a really great safe swap, and I stand by that. I think it is. As I mentioned, Sableye is banned, so if you switch into Cresselia, yes, there's other answers like Alolan Marowak, but it's still a great swap. It's a great safe switch. I would totally recommend it. I'll probably try out these teams. I'm probably going to try out all 3 of these teams, but I do think Cresselia definitely has great safe swap potential in this meta, and I'd be surprised if people are not going to use Cresselia quite a bit in the Retro Cup. And then we have the next team going to be Altaria in the lead. I think Altaria is a fantastic lead Pokemon. As I mentioned, since Galarian Stunfisk is banned, going to be seeing more and more Altaria. You do have to watch out for the ice types, and there's quite a few ice types that are going to be really good. But I do think Altaria is going to be great, and Deoxys is going to be an amazing safe swap option. So there's that for Deoxys. So if you lose the lead, you can safe swap into Deoxys or Politoed, depending on what the lead is from your opponent. But usually it's going to be Deoxys. And I think I'm liking Rock Slide and Psycho Boost on Deoxys defense. But we'll see. That may change, but that's the moveset I am liking. And then the final team, I have Medicham with Double Ghost in the back, so Jellicent and Alolan Marowak. So Jellicent and Alolan Marowak do not have to worry about Sableye. Mentioned it multiple times already, but it is banned. I kind of took the idea from Thode Technical, where he created a Azumel with Double Ghost in the back, Sableye and Alolan Marowak. So I think this Medicham, Jellicent and Alolan Marowak, I think seem really solid. But we'll have to see. Obviously. But anyway, this is going to be the Retro Cup. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you plan on using as your team. And I will see you all in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.